We flipped a coin, okay? You and me. You and me. Coin flip is sacred.
Y'all ready for a show today, baby? Showtime, baby. We've been waiting all week for this. This is where it happens right here, man. We man up, we stand up. We man up, we stand up. We all we got. We all we need. We all we got. We all we need. We all we got. We all we need.
Hit anything that moves. We're playmakers, man. We the best, nothing less.
You don't like this? Trust me, you don't like it.
We're between the white lines. This is football. Welcome to the big league. I won the toss. I took the football. Drive it down that throat.
Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your skull?
Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest.
Game time! Game time!
Welcome, everybody, to week 5 of the Coin Flip NFL main slate. Gup here as usual. This is pod 2 of 3 today. I'll be recording. We got kiddos on a little fall break. Mom has a little minor surgery tomorrow, so a lot going on to get done today, get ahead of things. Great time to be a part of Gup's Corner community. Had an awesome week last week among all sports. We updated and kind of put our final NFL tools out last week. Some small enhancements and stuff still coming for sure. The Green Machine is getting tons of love in the GC Warrior room. So with us finally having all that built out, I am doing a 25% off using the code GREEN25 now through Monday Night Football. So come check us out. It includes a 7-day free trial. So join now, check it all out all weekend. If by Monday you don't like it, you're probably not going to. You can cancel. Never see a charge at all. If you do like it, hey, you get to save 25% now. It's a great time to join and check us out. If you are a current member and you want to upgrade, reach out to me in the GC Warrior room. We'll get you hooked up with that as well. No listener league this week. We have been unable to fill it the first few weeks. So first week we did, and I think the last ones we haven't. I took the week off. I'll see what the demand is, if we feel like we can get it filled. Had no problems, obviously, filling the PGA ones at all, but for some reason NFL is not filled as quickly. I think someone in Slack, though, dropped one in there. If you are a member, you can go check it out. Rate and review us on iTunes. It goes a long way. Need all that we can get. When I do big giveaways, that is the first thing I go to check out potential winners. Or second thing I go to is YouTube. Go subscribe to us now. Hit that like button if you're listening or watching it. Tell me your favorite stack this week, favorite team you want to stack this week on the main slate only in the comments, and that'll get you into some of the drawings that I'll be doing, some free giveaways this week. Underdog, deposit $10, get a free $10 with the code GUP. They have their midseason resurrection going on now. It's $10 an entry, 11.2 thousand entries. It's 53.4% full. It starts next week, week 6 through week 17. So if you got the injury bug on your current best balls, or your team just sucks, or you didn't even know what best ball was until recently, go check it out now. It'll give you some practice for next year's big, $1 million best balls that they do starting, around July or so. Great time to join there. They also do NBA and NHL best balls, and then they have daily leagues as well. There's always a Thursday and Sunday night battle royal. You can enter. Great site, great app. It's in the link. The link is in the description. If you want to use that, then use the code GUP. We are going to stick to the same format, talk a little prediction strike, plays, fades, and values, favorite stacks, favorite Super 7 lines, upset of the week, survivor of the week, and then some monkey knife fight plays before we get out of here. Prediction strike watch. Talked about this on Tuesday's pod, I believe. Definitely, if you're not familiar with that, check out the link in the description. You can also go to our YouTube channel or the audio and search for the prediction strike intro video that I did with their head of strategy. 4 guys I'm on right now. One I talked about Tuesday. Hopefully you jumped on him because he's probably gone up, and that's Mooney. And I didn't think we'd get the Fields announcement this early in the season, but I did mention once Fields takes over, I felt like Mooney would be a good long-term buy. So I bought him at $1.10. Hopefully you can still go jump on that if you haven't already. I like Gainwell still at $4.59. That's a long-term buy. You know, if he doesn't work out in Philly, I think his second contract will be good. Patterson at $2.11, even though he's gone up so far, I still believe in him to have a great year and keep going in Atlanta. And then A.J. Dillon at $1.18 attracts me just because I think he is going to find his way in the NFL at some point in time. If it's not with Green Bay, if they stick with Aaron Jones when his rookie contract's up, I think he could have a good second team as well. Playbook, I do each position. We do plays, values, and fades. Starting out with quarterback, I'm going to go Kyler. I love Kyler this week. I know a lot of people probably are on the 49ers as far as, you know, Arizona letdown spot, but Arizona's at home. I'd like them to cover, but I'm not really necessarily going there. San Francisco's just so beat up. I'll talk to Ryan about that on the main slate as well, but you know, I know he's 8,000 and hopefully that keeps some off of him, but man, he's playing so good right now. It becomes hard to stack sometimes with him because he is spreading it out so much. It's not only relying on Hopkins, but it's actually a good thing because he can hit up A.J. Green. He can hit up Rondale Moore. He can go to Christian Kirk. Max Williams is getting involved. Chase Edmonds out of the backfield. James Conner takes the red zone over. So I like him in general this week. I'll be playing him $8,000. My next play is Aaron Rodgers. A lot of good options around here. The biggest game is going to be Dallas and the Giants right now, easily the highest projected ownership for a game environment. I don't mind that at all, but I like Rodgers to be a little bit different. I think Devontae has a big week this week. I actually think that game could, you know, be one of the highest scoring games of the week. Green Bay's got a 27.25 implied team total. He's going to come in probably 6th or 7th in ownership in quarterback this week. So I like that a lot. I think Adams goes off. I think he still goes to Cobb. I talked him up so much last week. Hopefully you jumped on him. Even reiterated it Sunday morning that the narrative street of him wanting to prove that's why we bring a veteran in, yada, yada. But I think he keeps it going with MVS out. So I don't mind having Cobb and Adams for that matter. Values to me, this was kind of hard, not hard because of the guys, but to convince myself that this really could work out. But first one was Mac Jones, just because of the price. I think he could have a good game against Houston. I know they're on the road, but they're not very good at all. Bill may be wanting to prove that, hey, we got a guy, even though we lost to Tampa, this guy can go. They don't have, you know, a very solidified backfield right now. James White out, all that, you know, Bolden got some work. Harris will get some work. But I think Mac Jones come out and probably have like a big first half, you know, could throw for, going for 300 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns. And at 5,300, you don't have to get a lot out of this game. You can just go him and Jacoby Myers if you want. And that saves you a lot of money to put some high price guys around them, which we'll get to at running back and wide receiver as well. So that's a good value to me. And then Trevor Lawrence, I just think Tennessee's defense isn't that good. I have a little bit of concerns because of the locker room drama, but I mean, these guys are young. They want to prove themselves. Trevor's getting better. He's running more. I talked about that last week. 5,800 in a game that doesn't have a great game total, and they don't have a good implied team total per se. But at that price, I think he can do enough, and he's got enough weapons to go around. And with, you know, DJ Chark out now, I love Chenault. I talked about him a lot last year and still on him. So you could get some pieces out of here in a mini little stack, running back with Henry, and then add to it if you want to. I think that's viable for sure. My fade's Brady. I don't like this spot for them. Big favorites at home after the big emotional game last Sunday. I think they can run fine on them. Miami is horrible against the run defense or against the run right now. I like Fournette out of this game to have a big game. At that price, 7,400, that's the thing that just kind of turns me off of him right now. He's the second highest priced guy. I'd rather play Dak. I'd rather play Rodgers. You know, all those guys over Brady. Kirk Cousins even playing the terrible Detroit, although I think they'll run the ball a lot. So Brady's a fade for me. Running backs, I'm going to go with Cook. Burned me last week a little bit. Detroit's just not very good against the run. So at that price, 8,400, you're going to have a lot of – I don't think we'll have super chalky because, you know, McCaffrey's even practicing. He has a chance to play. So you got 8,700 McCaffrey, 8,600 Kamara, 9,000 Henry, 8,400 Cook. I mean, I don't think people are going to – I think people spread it out a little bit. And I actually think there's some good value plays at running back as well. So but I like Cook a lot. I think if he needs that break out, like get things going like he looked like last year, this could be it against Detroit. I like Zeke, 7,000. If you're not playing him in stacks because it's going to be so popular, just make sure you're unique in that kind of setup. But I think you could play him in stacks or one-off, or just take a couple pieces like Zeke and Shepard, if Shepard's healthy, and put it in with some of these other stacks let's talk about. Have Rodgers, Adams, Cobb, Zeke, Shepard. That's something like that. I don't even know how that works, but I'm sure it will. And it opens up things. I think he could have a really good game. He's looking good. And last is Henry. If you want to pay up this week, I think he's worth it. You know me, I normally don't go to the highest percentage. But Jacksonville is going to struggle to stop them a little bit. I like him more with the wide receivers out, but I don't hate him even if they're in. I think they're still going to get him involved no matter what. Values to me, I've already talked about Fournette. I think he's one of my favorite plays on the entire slate. 5,200 is an absolute lock and load. I think he'll have a big game against Miami. And next one's Chase Edmonds. I don't think he's getting the respect in the industry that he should. He's a good running back. I get it. His limited stuff is, James Conner's there, Kyler's there, but he gets so involved in the offense at only 5,900. If he was 6,800 or something like that, I can get it. But 5,900 is a good pay down spot. And I think his DK value is good. It's one of the top ones on the slate for me. So, I like Edmonds this week as a good pay down option. And you can put him in some stacks with Kyler if you want to. Fade for me is Kamara. You give me all these other guys around him, and then potentially McCaffrey we'll have to figure out come Sunday morning. He would be fourth on those four big boys up top for me, and it's not even close. So I'll fade Kamara. No real interest in him this week. Wide receiver plays. Devontae Adams, go with Rodgers. I think that's a big game waiting to happen. I don't mind paying the 8,200. I know it gets kind of dicey if you want to go Henry, Adams, stuff like that, but you can mix and match, some stacks there. So I like CD Lamb. His price has dropped, so he's only 100 more than Cooper now. Cooper still potentially is getting more love when you look at ownership, but it's going to be a toss-up there. They're both good options. I just think, especially if you want to do a one-off and not stack in there, I like Lamb a little bit more than Cooper this week. He's still a little banged up. You saw him come out a little bit in the game, Monday, or Sunday night, whenever it was. But I like Lamb at 6,200 if choosing between those two. Thielen, who I'm normally a big Jefferson guy, but Thielen's getting a price. He's, what is he? $1,100 cheaper than Jefferson, and I get it. I like Jefferson more if you're just talking about raw talent potential, but Thielen's still one of Cousins' favorite red zone targets. So to get that discount, if you're not playing both, that's fine. If you're going to take like a Cook, Thielen, maybe Conklin type stack with Cousins, I don't hate that because he's just so cheap. Now Jefferson may be lower owned because of that. I'm not going to be the only person that says, "Hey, I'll take $1,100 less Thielen." But I like him a lot this week. Jacoby Myers, 5,600, cheap. He's just a target monster for Mac Jones right now. So if you're not playing Mac Jones, I certainly get it, but I think you can play Myers by himself. I guess the fear there would be if he doesn't get involved early, New England gets up big, they're going to run the ball. But I think he still gets his because he'll get so many targets. So 5,600 is a good price for him. I like Jacoby Myers this week. Values, first one, Shenault. Outside of, I love like Fournette, Shenault to start lineups this week. Like it a lot. Tennessee's defense is not great. You saw instantly Shenault get more involved in the game as soon as Chark went out. $4,800 isn't enough. I like him a lot this week. Higgins, I like a lot. If he's active, it's looking like he'll finally be able to get in there. It's a very cheap price for a guy who was targeted the most when he was in for Cincinnati. I know Jamar Chase is the kind of DFS darling flash right now, and I love him. I talked about him a lot in the preseason, but I think Higgins at that price is really, really good play, 5,000. And I like a game stack, Cincinnati, Green Bay this week. You can play Chase and Higgins and Cobb and Adams and Rodgers and build from there. Find your running backs and go if you want to. That brings my last value, Cobb. I talked about it last week. I still think he's not going to get what he got last week per se, but I still think Rodgers is going to make a point to keep him involved in this offense. He didn't get that much of a price increase, so the 4,000 makes him playable for me. I like him this week in some stacks in that Green Bay Bengals game. Fade for me is Mike Evans, just to go with. He's higher priced than Godwin and kind of go in that deal. If I think Brady's going to be kind of down, they'll probably control the clock, run the ball well. Probably they could cover against Dolphins, but I see it just being a meh game for that passing offense. So I would take Godwin if I was choosing between the two, so a little bit cheaper. So I'll fade Mike Evans at $6,800 this week. Tight ends, Waller is, Kelsey level, as far as he's $7,300. The next highest is 56. So if you're playing Waller, it's obviously a good play. You play him, and he's almost turns into a wide receiver 1 at that point, just like Kelsey kind of is. Outside of him, I like Schultz, $4,400. I think he could do a little under the radar because Jarwin got the touchdown. But if you look at the usage, routes, all that kind of stuff, you can go check it out on the tools. Schultz is way more involved. So I like it at 4,400, especially in the stacks. And if he's going to be low owned, that can make your Dallas stack a little bit more unique. And then I like my next two I like as run it back options. So I like Kittle. If you got an Arizona stack and you want to run it back with him at 5,600, it's a little expensive, but I think it'll make it unique. And then Hawkinson continues to just kill everybody. Oh, excuse me. Long day. But he's going to be 4%. And I love Minnesota this week. So if you got a big Minnesota stack and you want to run it back with one person, it'd probably be Hawkinson or Swift for me. But I got to think Hawkinson gets a big game sooner or later, and this may be it. A little bit risky there, but that's just another option. My value is Conklin, actually, for the Vikings, $3,500. Starting to see a little more usage for Minnesota. It's a very cheap price. You could get to 10 points or so, and that'd be good. He's one of my best value plays of the week, so I like Conklin. Fade is Dallas Goedert, $5,100. I don't mind him or necessarily, but he's just too expensive for that kind of setup. So that's an easy fade at that price. Defense, we're on 2 or 3 weeks in a row. We're paying up at defense. It certainly would have, was valid. Bills last week, I talked about it. Hey, I know no one wants to pay up on it, but man, did they score. This week is probably going to be the Patriots, but I don't think hardly anybody is going to go there against Houston because they're going to be $4,900 for defense. No one's touching it. I think it's a good way to get unique if you want. You obviously need some things to break your way. If you're going to pay up, use them. My favorite defense that's just a decent price is the Steelers. I think that game's going to be a low-scoring game. And this is if Locke is playing. Locke is not very great. I think Pittsburgh will get a lot of pressure. They're at home, $3,300. I think that's a pretty solid, safe defense this week. Values, I like the Cardinals this week, $2,900, especially if Trent Williams is out. Pay attention to that. Big old former Oklahoma Sooner. If he's out, I love the Cardinals this week. They'll get good pressure on the rookie. They're at home as well, $2,900. I may even lock the Cardinals in every lineup I do if Trent Williams winds up being out. I will have Cardinals either way, but I love them if he's out. And then the Jaguars, if you really want to go cheap, I don't hate that against Tennessee. They're scrappy a little bit over there. $2,100. They may be able to get pick off Tannehill or something like that, get a fumble. If you want to save up, I personally love paying $800 more and finding savings elsewhere and get to the Cardinals, but Jaguars is in play as well. Gut feel plays for me. I like James Robinson in that Jacksonville kind of game script, potential stacks with the Titans. I like Chubb. I think he's a good play this week against the Chargers. I think they'll try to establish a run. He's $600-700, which seems kind of cheap for Chubb. So it could be a good one-off play. I like P. Ryan Samaji, another former Sooner on OU Texas week. Especially, obviously Mixon needs to be out, but if he's out, I do like P. Ryan. Could be a sneaky play in some Green Bay stacks at $4,000. I still like OBJ, 6,000. Not enough to get up into my, my plays and all that stuff, but it's a gut feel. He was so close. If Baker could have got him the ball, I don't mind him. And then the guy I've talked about already on the pod, Mooney, 4,700. I don't like him as much this week. I think the Raiders secondary is pretty good and they're on the road. But long term, I do like him. But I still think if you want to take a chance on this week, I don't mind it at that $4,700. It could be a one-off play, or maybe go Damon Williams and Mooney and Waller, something like that. A three-person correlated mini stack, and then go elsewhere. Favorite stacks for me are the Packers and Cardinals this week. Mix and match all those options there. And then my sneaky stack, actually, it was a tough one for me. You probably figured it out by now, but I think you could Patriots or Jaguars. I think would be a good sneaky stacks this week with the way everything's shaking out. My 2 favorite Super 7 plays: Chiefs -2.5, Cowboys -7. My upset of the week is the Browns. They are a 1.5, 2-point dog to the Chargers. I think they go on the road and get that upset. Survivor picks, few Survivor upsets last week. So if you're still alive, I am still alive. I had the Bills. I like the Patriots and the Vikings would be my 2 choices there. Patriots probably being the most obvious. Monkey Knife Fight, as I mentioned, use the code GUPS, GUPS, up to a free $100 when you deposit $100. It's a dollar for dollar match. The link is in the description if you would like to sign up now. I went 2-0 in PGA last week for 14 times our money. Had a pretty good NFL Monday Night Football a week and a half ago. Been up on Monkey Knife Fight for sure. I give out college football, NFL, and PGA. Bob, you can use our team's information for NASCAR, UFC, all that stuff. So get signed up now. They have a UFC Knockout Kings tournament from time to time. College football player props are awesome. I'm glad they finally added those. My favorite college football play of the week is a more or less. I think it's 3x your money. And this is the OU Texas game. I like Gray under 62.5 rushing and Roschon Johnson under 52.5 rushing. OU's run defense is pretty good. I know Bijan's going to be a beast to stop. I don't see the second running back getting over 52.5. He may bust one, but and then Gray, Brooks is kind of taking that on. They're splitting it pretty good. I think they'll probably throw more than run a little bit. So I like both those under and the rushing. NFL, more or less, my favorite one of the week, and this is one of my favorite ones I've had in a while. I like Devontae Adams over 94.5 and Derrick Henry over 115.5 yards for them. Love that play. Went pretty heavy on it. Go get signed up. Get those plays in. We'll have more for PGA as well next week, so you can already be a part of that. Remember, Audible will be live 10 Eastern on Sunday. We will go through all the final injury stuff, tweaks, where have I changed, have I moved up or down on anybody. We got the McCaffrey news we're looking for, the Tennessee Titans wide receiver news, among some other ones. Joe Mixon, is he going to play? That makes an effect, kind of the way I want to go. Cup with Gup with Ryan and I will drop later on tonight. It'll be ready for your Friday morning commute. And the college football read option pod on a awesome slate Saturday. We have on DK the midseason main event, 444 up top. That pod will come out tomorrow as well. Should be an awesome week. It is a great week to join. I'll have showstoppers covered for PGA. I already put out the showstoppers for the NFL tonight. I'll have it for Sunday night. I may try to do the Atlanta Jets game if it looks like DK is going to have some pretty good contests. I would imagine they would, since it's a one-off on that London early Sunday morning. I didn't think about that I need to see what time that starts because I may tweak the Audible around that, but I'll let you guys know if I do that. Should be a great week. Come join us. Use the code GREEN25. It's 25% off our package. You get full access for a week with no charge. You can cancel at any time if you don't like it. Come see what we got. I will be back and see you guys later on tonight with Ryan, and then I'll see you guys Sunday morning in the Slack, our GC Warrior Room. Appreciate it. Have a blessed day and a blessed weekend. Thank you.